Analysis of Jeffrey Dahmer's case and Robert Pickton's case by Japmehtab Singh, Yushua Alfred, and Gursimran Singh. Introduction. The purpose of this Pecha Kutcha is to compare the crimes of Jeffrey Dahmer and Robert Pickton and describe the similarities in their crimes and ecological aspects of crime. Ecology of crime. The environment. The environment conducive to crime. Jeffrey and Robert both have experience with the dead bodies of animals from very young age. They know how to dispose of bodies and were quite professional in their work. The predator. Both of them are very intelligent, means they know what they were doing and how to manipulate others. They know where they have to attack without getting caught and getting away with their crimes. Victimology. Re-victimization of victim is known as victimology. In case of Robert Pickton, one of his victims reached out to police but was ignored as she faced drug addiction and was in street business. She was handcuffed by Robert Pickton and stabbed multiple times, but police still ignored her. Many social researchers opine that crime is heavily influenced by economic factors like employment, education, and financial conditions. Pickton was raised by a single mother and he used to work hard labor which he didn't like. He wanted to go in army but due to his economic and family condition he wasn't able to go in army. He continued to work on farm and then he put his steps in the crime. Biosocial refers to bidirectional interaction between biological phenomena and social relationship and context, which constitute process of human development over the life course. Contemporary researchers acknowledge criminal behavior is a result of genetic and environmental interaction, but must begin with biological differences by studying brain images, chromosomal abnormalities, and hormone levels.
Pickton's mother was a key influence. His mother was eccentric and tough, and that eccentricism was also seen in Pickton, which carried through the genes from his mother. Jeffrey's parents were known to be tense and suffering from depression. Especially his mother was known to be greedy for both attention and pity, and argumentative with husband and neighbors. There are many abnormalities in the brain which explains the strangeness in behavior and criminality. Social factor that contributes to crime and violence includes violent and permissive families, unstable neighborhoods, and delinquent peer groups. Most violent behavior is a learned behavior. Robert Pickton was raised by his mother alone on the farms and he lived a very hard life. He had to work long hours on the farms to provide his family and struggled in school. In childhood, he did not have any social interaction with people.
Jeffrey Dahmer was already in stress due to fights between his mother and father. He got more repressed after his surgery and became quiet and timid in the school time. He was deprived of attention as an infant. His father was away for study and his mother was tensed. Later he adopted alcohol as his medicine. Paraphilia, a condition characterized by abnormal sexual desires, fantasies, typically activities, situations, or objects that most people do not consider sexually arousing. Main categories of paraphilias are pedophilia, humiliation, sexual attraction to non-human animals or material objects. Jeffrey Dahmer began fantasizing about dominating and controlling a completely submissive male. His fantasies gradually became intertwined with dissection. He trained himself to treat others as an object. He don't like his partner's movement while intimacy. He started giving them alcohol and sleeping pills. Robert Pickten also had similar fantasies like Jeffrey Dahmer, and he got so lost in his fantasies that he was unable to differentiate between real world. He started treating people like animals, especially pigs. He used to work as a butcher from very young age. The way he butchered girls and women is the same way he used to butcher pigs, hanging them, dismembering their bodies, disposing the bodies, and sometimes storing them in cold freezers. And he started enjoying it. That he didn't stop even after the realization of being caught by the police.
Labeling theory. This theory is commonly associated with the sociology of crime as describing someone unlawfully deviant. It can lead to poor conduct. It is sociological explanation of crime that proposes that negative labeling can predispose people to feel like outcasts, increasing likelihood of further deviant or criminal behavior, also known as societal reaction theory. This theory creates self-fulfilling prophecies in stereotyping. It also draws attention on the process of rule-making and the role played by the moral entrepreneurs who use their power and influence to adjust the legal system to their advantage. Primary and secondary deviance. Primary deviance. It is the behavior that is contrary to social norms but has not been recognized. People indulged in primary deviance may engage in deviant acts but are not considered deviant or bad people. Secondary deviance. Deviance acts or behavior that results from labeling. In case of Jeffrey Dahmer, the public and media had a significant influence on his label as a criminal. He was labeled as a serial killer and was described as a monster and a predator. These labels had a huge impact on how Jeffrey was perceived by the society. His image in the society was displayed of being an inhuman, remorseless, and cannibal killer. Robert Pickton was referred as a pig farmer and a killer. The labeling also influenced his behavior in the prison and was treated differently than other inmates just because of the label that was applied to him. In this presentation, we talked about some of the criminal theories and factors involved in the case of Jeffrey Dahmer and Robert Pickton. We can also say that crimes could have been stopped at an earlier stage if were given attention by the cops and officials earlier.